back with the last match. Clarification, the last match of day one. Of course, a full week still ahead of us of Intel Extreme Masters Counter-Strike with CSGO. And we have another new face here in the desk. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Alex, also known as Machine, in case you guys didn't know.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it feels good. Feels good to have seen the way this has shaped up so far. I've had such a good experience because I was slightly concerned that teams were coming into this one with question marks, okay, how are we going to play this, game plans? And already we're seeing strategies forming, alliances forming, and that's kind of what I was hoping would happen. So far, big smile on my face.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. Let's recap a little bit. Of course, we kicked it off with the community voted game number one, EnVy versus TSM. That wasn't a huge surprise from community votes, of course. Kind of a spectacle right there. EnVy actually coming out on top from that one, and then from there on, we've seen things play out. SK actually, in some ways, taking an upset against CLG, but of course, the map influenced that play a little bit. Unfortunately for CLG, Overpass not their strongest suit here in CSGO. And now going forward, that's where Cadian came in, and he said, listen, we're going to get the game straight here. We're just going to play for ourselves. We're just going to make sure that we have a better chance and not at least being last and maybe even having a shot at going further up into the top. And Natsu, I mean, you were talking about what you thought was going to be the matchup coming in between Mouse and EnVy, and you were dead on. I mean, TSM wants to make sure one of those teams at least ends the day with 3 lives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're here to win this tournament, obviously, and they feel EnVy and Mousesports are the two teams that are really, I think they feel those are the two bigger threats from them, for them this event. So it felt obvious for me that they would pick, or he would pick those teams to play one another to make sure they lose, one of them lose life.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I still don't know which one I favor in this matchup at all, because I mean, you look at it on paper and I'm like, Mouse are looking really scary, really scary. I mean, against Renegades, you haven't seen too much of them. But I'm still not sure. Yeah,
well, traditionally, EnVy, even if they've changed 2 players, still Inferno has been it's been a map they've always liked to play. And it's been a strong map for Kenny as well, Apex, as individuals. So I would think EnVy is still going to be pretty good on Inferno. Probably. More likely than not.
Yeah, I mean, of course, earlier, Apex really showed up to play in game number 1. We'll see if that has... Now, they've had to sit and watch all these other games. Of course, I mean, they have practice stations set up so that they can make sure their hands are warmed up and whatnot and their minds are clear going in. But you have had to wait the whole day. I mean, even if you take a break outside, like we discussed earlier, you're going to be in this environment watching the other games. It could affect you a little bit. So that's another thing to look at. One other interesting point is so far in our first 4 matches, we've had a different team win. So, every team who's won has only won $500 so far for their win, but both of these teams are coming in with a win. So one of these teams gets another extra 500. They get a little bit of an extra prize pool, bonus prize pool by the end of day 1 compared to the other teams. That's got to be pretty exciting too. Now, if you're TSM though, are you hoping a certain team loses a life here, or does it not matter? Just one of them has to lose it.
I don't think it really matters.
I think it's a shot in the dark. They'll happily see EnVy or Mouse lose one. That's kind of it's an easy decision for them to make, because they're just like, these are our 2 biggest threats. Let's just see one of them get a little weaker, which, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. And you were talking about Inferno, just that while it's in the top of my head is, do you remember way back when they were talking to Happy, and he said, oh, if they're going to pick a map for us, pick us Inferno. Where are we? Exactly. This is scary.
That is true. I mean, maybe Kerrigan thought about that a little bit. Maybe it just didn't matter. He already knew he wanted EnVy and Mouse to play anyway.
No, I don't think the map really made a difference there. That was the least of his concerns. He just wanted those
of course
to meet each other. That's it.
Yeah, for Kerrigan himself, yeah. I mean, again, we speculated a lot. I mean, we were just talking about this during the break machine, but about how we were a little bit worried that it might become too systematic, that the teams were super on the same page. But we're starting to see, as soon as certain teams lose lives, they're like, shoot. Once we see that other team lose life, we're like, we got to play for ourselves. We got to play this game just on our own term and our own pages. So that's pretty exciting.
I think coming into this match, I think EnVy's the one of these 2 teams that's going to feel more comfortable having to face Mousesports on Inferno. It's like I said before, it's a map EnVy's being good at, and it's the map Apex and Kenny has previously played really good, solid matches on. Meanwhile, Mouse, I mean, they know how to play Inferno, but it's not like one of their strongest suits, such as Dust 2 or Cass, that we've seen really good matches from them on. So I think EnVy is going to be sitting happy with this map.
I think another good point you've kind of off the back of that is in regards to God B, because he's one of these players, one of these in-game leaders who recently everyone's been saying he has done his research. You know, he's looked at teams, he's broken down what to expect on certain maps. Envy, they haven't been around too long. You can't, I mean, there's 2 new players, things are going to have changed. You've got a new AWP presence, a new entry fragger. There's a lot of things that he can't look into as well. He can't have the resources available to him to be the God be we know of recent results. That's the word I was trying to say.
Yeah, definitely that's kind of been the new spin here for Envy. And some people worried that might not be so great for themselves, but at the same time, like you're pointing out, and like we saw in the very first game, it's working out to their advantage so far. The fact that they are pretty much a new roster, right? I mean, as soon as you choose 2 players to replace on a CSGO roster, and depending on the position, of course, it's going to change a lot on how you play out certain maps.
Yeah, it's like we sort of heard Happy there imply that Shocked wasn't necessarily always listening to him before. He said something along the lines of, now the team is listening to him more. So it's actually going to be fun to see like how they actually play and what kind of a style of play they're generating. Because we know they like to play fast, a bit of reckless, but you know sometimes it just went overboard with the previous lineup. So it's going to be fun to see another glimpse of what kind of an Envy we're going to see in the future.
That's not something you can underestimate as well. People not listening to your calls. I mean, you just cast your mind back to Cloud9. You remember what happened when Sean Guerra's calls were questioned, and we saw that Semphis Sean Guerra's balance kind of looking a little tilty. Now everyone's praising Sean Guerra's because his calls are amazing, and that's because everybody on Cloud9 is listening. So maybe, just maybe, that's what Envy needed.
Yeah, I mean, leadership's a tricky thing, right? Because you could be making the right calls, but if no one follows, you're still going to take the hit from an outside point of view because you saw them making the calls and the results didn't show. I mean, that's what we know when we're watching the game. But of course, you got to think about these outside factors when you talk about certain teams and how they place and where they are in terms of condition, because outside factors definitely make a big difference in team games. Now, for all of you guys at home, we're already talking about how we've had all these other cool matches go on and whatnot. We're already 4 matches through, only one last match left for day 1 here at the Intel Stream Matches. If you missed any of those, don't forget you can go over to Blaze.tv, check out some sweet highlights. Of course, you can also go over and talk about the game coming up on Twitter with the hashtag IEM. Who do you think is going to take it? This is a tough one. I mean, so far, sadly, I mean, I feel really bad because Renegades is the only team that has been the victim of the system a little bit. But when we talk about the matchups that Renegade's been put into, it's either they're being set up for an awesome upset, or people are like, it's going to be pretty straightforward, and that's what we've seen so far. But with Mouse versus Envy, I don't feel that coming into this match. You could argue like there are statistical advantages to each team, but no one's going to sit there and be like, definitely Envy winning this, or definitely Mouse.
Yeah, like we know, Envy's changing players, so that sort of makes them an uncertain or unknown quantity at this point of what kind of a team are they? How consistently can they play? And like I pointed out before the first match, Apex, again, is going to be a key man, in my opinion, as an entry fragger as well, because he's been hot and cold. You know, there's nothing in between. It's just going to be extremely good or it's going to be extremely bad. And there's not going to be one of those matches where like he's a human being. So I think this is going to be, it's going to be great to see how that turns out.
Quick question then, because you've just mentioned hot and cold Apex, because that's something that every time someone talks about Apex, they mention like inconsistency. Can you name an entry fragger that doesn't have hot and cold? Like it's something that it's all comes down to not chance, but
sure. Yeah, I mean that's a valid argument, but I think it's even more extreme from him. It seems like he's either having these insane matches where he's going like above like 30 or even plus that, or he's just going to be sitting at like 5 frags. So there's like nothing in between.
There's not a middle ground.
No, like there's no match where he's doing like a couple of rounds of, you don't always have to be extremely good going into like every single round, or but he doesn't have these matches where he's like having an impact frag in like, let's say 5 rounds, which could be a difference between winning and losing. He's going to go totally cold if he's not having a good start.
Absolutely. I mean, the kind of, while we're on the topic of Apex, the thing I'm super excited about is the fact that we're going to be seeing something that we mentioned a lot with Titan, was saying, if Apex and Kenny are on, then Titan are on. But now we've got like a whole other 3. This is the thing that as soon as I saw this switch up get made, I was like, okay, this could be really exciting, because the backbone, the other 3 behind Kenny and Apex, now things have changed up. I want to know if that's the same, if it is the same Kenny and Apex need to perform, because I think things have really gone in their favor with that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of kind of hullabaloo around this roster swap here for Envy, where people are like, this could actually really work out. I mean, this could work out because maybe it draws a little less pressure from Kenny and Apex, where they're like, well, even if we don't perform at our best, our team can still kind of follow through, and that way they can be a little bit more comfortable. At the same time, I mean, for the other 3, it's like, well, we have these superstars that if they go absolutely crazy, they're just going to cruise through the whole game on those 2 on their own. So there's a different dynamic here.
I mean, it's interesting. You have 3 players that come from a philosophy of, well, you could say reckless Counter-Strike, and then you have 2 players that have come from a philosophy of a very controlled Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So when you mix those 2 things, if you can find that perfect middle, I mean, yeah, it could be really effective. But I think it's going to take more time. It's definitely not, it's only been like, what, a couple of weeks?
Right.
I'm lost track of time, actually. So
everyone has.
Yeah, just about 2-3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not a long time for a Counter-Strike team. Like, normally you could say about, you give a team, like, let's say 3 months or so to develop themselves to really see, like, how far they can actually go.
Right.
So if you're really early on this team's history, just actually really judge them and see how good of a team they can be.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Again, of course, from a community standpoint, definitely giving them some time. But for now, it looks like they're feeling pretty good at the very least, regardless of result.
Oh, I mean, coming off of that win in the first match was very important for the self-confidence. That's a tell for them that they're actually doing things right, and whatever, like the way they're playing is not flawed. If you know what I mean. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be good for them going further in this tournament and going beyond this tournament to get as many victories in different maps as well. So they really get to see what works and what doesn't.
I think that's important as well, because there's such a new roster. There's always going to be question marks surrounding them. Like, you look at whenever there's a roster switch, look at Mousesports. When they first started out, when they kind of pinched Penta and made this whole kind of mashup of German talent, immediately their results weren't great. Like, people were looking at them as like, okay, Mouse and Penta, which one's going to come out better for this one? Suddenly, Mouse have had time. I think it's been like 3-4 months now, and they've really kind of hit their stride. Envy, if they can start picking up results here at IEM so early on, like what were we saying, 2-3 weeks, it scares me what can happen with the Mousesports length of time and see how strong they can really get.
Oh, definitely. Like, Mousesports is a great example, actually. That Penta core, Penta was known for a playstyle. We were talking about reckless Counter-Strike. That was something beyond reckless. That was like, you could say brain dead Counter-Strike. Like, it made no sense whatsoever. Seriously, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Wow.
No, seriously. So that's actually what they were like. I've heard people talking about this. Like, you have the skill sets of those players, and then when you combine some actual strategic structure into it, I think that could be a very deadly combination, and we're starting to see that building up every tournament. Getting better. Yeah,
I mean, that's a good point you bring up, because obviously there's plenty of tournaments to look forward to towards the end of the year too. Obviously we've got ESL1 coming up, but at the same time, Intel Extreme Masters San Jose coming up in November. I mean, by that time, that will be about three and a half months later for Envy. If they show up there and they have a chance to play there at a whole different level, that could kind of be the kickoff for Envy and say, this is what we were aiming for with this roster. Here we are. We're now re-challenging for that top spot. I mean, TSM and Fnatic have been kind of fighting over, of course, Cloud9 fighting really hard to keep that spot in North America for quite some time now. But Envy could come in and really throw things off here in terms of world rankings and how teams view them, basically, or even fans at the same time. So this is a start for it all. I mean, if they have a good performance here, people are going to start to be a little bit worried about playing Envy in future tournaments. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
I think that's the worry. That is the worry. Whereas, like, because there's because there is so much hype around Kenny S. You can like, just don't doubt it. We talk about Kenny S, especially like everyone talks about this whole AWP chain shenanigan where we lost a bit of the shine of Kenny S. But if you just look at Kenny S as an individual, there's so much like love for the guy. He's a very likable character when you actually talk to him. When you do get him on the desk, he has a lot to say, in his own way. And then you look at that, like, Envy already is under the spotlight because of Kenny S turning up on that roster, because of Apex being on that roster. Like, that's a very, like, those are the two names that when we were casting Titan, we talk about a lot.
Right.
Now they're on the roster of EnVyUs, where you've got, the likes of Keo, NBK. There's so many extra names that we would previously have talked about, and now it's very intimidating, a very intimidating roster.
Yeah, for sure.
To see them age as well, to see if they can, be like a fine French wine, perhaps. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up a good point, because the expectation is that they grow to that point. So if they don't get there, I mean, that's a lot of pressure too in some ways. But as we've been saying, good start so far. And I think if they can beat Mouse here too, they keep their 4 lives by the end of day 1. They've taken the life off of both TSM and Mouse. As they said themselves, I mean, Happy was saying, well, after TSM, Mouse is probably the next team that we see kind of as a rival here at the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom. So if they start off by knocking lives off of both of those teams, they've got to feel pretty good going into day 2 tomorrow. I think that would be exciting to watch. And maybe they'll have a new target painted on their back. Maybe teams will start trying to set that up too. I mean, I'm actually really happy. I'm really happy that players are playing this whole system selfishly. Like, I love that, right? It's
yeah, but then a little tear starts to like creep on my face when I look at Renegades, and I'm like, those guys. I saw them backstage, and they are. Let's be honest, they're the wounded animal now. 2 lives.
They are, yes.
And that's And that's really worrying for them because they know like they cannot afford to have any sort of like similar results coming into like their next game.
I mean, but you gotta remember they had a tough luck when it comes to matchups and how the maps ended up being for them. So you can't really go too much down on yourself. You just have to understand the fact that these teams on these certain maps are just that good, and you have your work cut out to match up on those certain maps. So going further in the tournament, you never know. It could be favorable matchups with favorable maps for them as well.
Yeah, and of course we heard, just them talking backstage earlier. Of course, Steven was telling us they were just saying, well, other than the fact that the matchup was hard, we also just weren't playing well in general. We just weren't on top of our condition today. We just weren't in our best form. So that's maybe something they can look forward to tomorrow. Obviously, traveling all the way from Australia, that's a big jump all the way over here to Germany. No matter how early you get here, it's going to be pretty different. So maybe they can kind of work on that for day 2, come back. Because as you said, they're kind of limping now into day 2 of Intel Extreme Masters. Yeah. They're trying to just not be seen. They're like, all right, guys, we're just going to walk by here. But again, maybe the map votes will influence that too. Maybe teams will look at it and be like, actually, well, Renegade's good on this map, so we don't want them to play a strong team, but we still want TSM to play this match. So we'll have to have them. Anything could happen in day 2.
This is actually a really good point because I mean, Mirage is one. I mean, you saw the first thing that I saw. Yam, he was just like, we just really don't play Mirage, and it was evident, of course, in that game. So the community, if they're sitting there like, okay, we like the wounded Australian and we want the kangaroo to live on a little longer, this poor little kangaroo with a broken leg, what they need to do is give them maps they can play. Let's see some Cache in there as well, see a little bit of that and give some love for the next time they play.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And again, there's definitely fans out there that are rooting for Renegades, whether it's because you've always liked them, whether it's because you kind of see them as those underdogs all the way from Australia and want them to have a better chance here at Intel Extreme Masters. When we come back tomorrow for day 2, we still got a match left, by the way, but when we are here for day 2, that's something to consider when you start putting in your votes. Maybe you should just always try to prioritize what you think Renegades would be good in, because most people are going to target Renegades going into day 2 here at kind of the last man standing brutal tournament format of Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom. It's been fun so far, though. Already only one day through, but I think it's been exciting. Obviously, also just the fact that best of ones, but the fact that every game to the very end is going to be a best of one, it has a different spin on it, right? It's not like we're going to have certain bracket games for best of one or certain group stage games for best of one. It's literally every game for every team will be best of one, and in some ways that makes it fair because you always know that you only have that one shot to fight for another life. So I think that's put another fun spin on it, this whole tournament.
Yeah, and there's an extra branch on that tree, which is, of course, they're not the ones choosing them out. They don't go into this knowing them.
Yes.
So, like, something that people worry about in Best of Ones is like, yeah, well, they've got all this time to prepare, and they know what map they're playing against what team. You have that kind of the God B effect where they can prepare incredibly.
Yeah, also, in a normal Best of One scenario, you can also do, like, you can sort of narrow down to a couple maps that you think is probably going to be played in that Best of One as well.
That's true.
You don't have that in this scenario.
It's all in the community's hands. They're just sitting there like kind of doing the whole evil villain thing.
Oh yeah, it's like
this is all us. Yeah, this is all us.
Yeah, this is definitely a huge advantage for us watching and just commentating over these games. Of course, for the fans at home, maybe a little bit more nerve-wracking for the players here on the stage sometimes, or when they're waiting backstage, seeing if they have to play that next match on a certain map or not. But
texting their mum to send a tweet in like, give us cash, give us cash, mum, please.
Yeah, that could very well happen. I mean, when it comes to do or die time, you got to get in as many tweets as you can in your favor for those map selections. The other thing I found interesting was you guys as commentators, right? You guys don't know which map you were commentating before the game. So I saw earlier our next set of commentators sitting over on the desk, and as soon as we heard that it was going to be Mouse going up against EnVyUs, it's like cheers, like yes, we get to cast that matchup. That's obviously another spin-off here. Pretty exciting to see and how that's going to play out. We are getting ready again for Mouse versus Envy over on Inferno. Just a little bit longer, making sure. I mean, for the last match of the day, and again, for both teams, like you want to be left saying we're the other team with 4 lives left, which interestingly enough, SK has now secured day 1 with 4 lives. Right? So they're going to end day 1 with 4 lives. That's going to feel pretty good. $500 extra in their prize pool, no matter where they end up on the standings by the end of the week. So that's going to be good. But again, between Envy and Mouse, only one more team will have 4 lives left by the end of the day. Machine, what do you think? Just going to throw you on the spot
for
here.
this game?
Yeah, Mouse versus Envy.
I think Natu made a lot of good points, and he's definitely played the game at a higher level than I have. So, gonna go ahead and follow this man's lead, and I think the map is the main determinant factor here. Like, I mean, if we'd have seen Mouse on Dust 2 for a second time, I probably wouldn't have made the decision as easily. But Envy on Inferno, Happy's making the calls. I fancy their chances.
Yeah, I have to say Envy as well. It's just from historic point of view, how well EnVy has played the map before, also in the Apexes and Genesis, how well both of those players have played the map. Meanwhile, I don't have as much evidence to myself that Mouse is as good of a team, or has been as good of a team as EnVy on Inferno, even though we're talking about a new EnVy here.
Right.
Gotta remember that. Still, evidence goes towards EnVy winning this.
You just brought up a good point, though. I hadn't thought about this. Alex, do you think by this point, Mouse is wondering that they wish they had played Dust against a different team? Because they're much more confident as Renegades in general anyway. Like, going into day 2, do you think they're going to sit there and be like, man, if it's Dust 2, I hope they pick us in, like, TSM so that we could just play them on our favorite map? Like, is that something that comes into play here?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the map vote was the community saying, I want to see Mousesports perform. And I mean, everyone here had the same mindset when we saw Dust 2. We were like, okay, that should be Mouse's game, right?
Right.
But when we talked to Happy, which really surprised me, was he was sitting there saying, I chose Dust 2 because I want Renegades to do well, which is really
true.
like kind of mind-boggling that there can be such like contrast opinions from player to analyst. It's quite intriguing that actually Happy wanted to see Renegades do well.
Yeah, but if I was on EnVy or TSM and I had the chance to stand on that stage, after watching, I mean, even if it was, again, Mouse versus Renegades, if I was watching that game and I select us 2, I'm thinking like, all right, I want to make sure we don't have to have Mouse like play against another strong team and kind of throw things off balance. We're just going to put them on what seems to be a much more straightforward matchup on Dust 2 so that Mouse gets their favorite map kind of taken out of the pool.
I mean, here comes the part where a player has intel we don't have when we don't practice, or yes.
Yeah.
They might have practiced against Renegades. They might have seen
That's true.
something good from them on Dust 2. So that's why he made that choice.
I mean, when we were watching that game too, definitely Renegades came in with some ideas that were working well in theory, and they set it up well. It's just, again, at that point, the shots weren't there to follow up. And that's just an unfortunate situation. As the players themselves said backstage, we just weren't performing as well as we thought we would. And that's just a bummer, because when you see kind of the minds working out, but then when the aim's just not there, it's such an unfortunate moment to witness when you're spectating a game.
Oh yeah, that just comes end of the day. The fact of the matter is, if your players are not playing individually up to their standards, it doesn't matter how well you're prepared in strategy-wise. You're just not going to win. You got to win your aim battles. That's a part of the game, a big part of it.
I mean, but to be fair, that it's actually not necessarily just Renegades underperforming. It felt like Mouse were kind of on it as well. Like, I mean, Chris J was being ridiculously cheeky. Like, me and Joe were sitting in the crowd, we were like, he's playing this like deathmatch at this point. He's running around, he's like, okay, I got 2 kills mid. Oh, they're long, I'll go get them as well. And he was just running around. And when a player has the freedom or the confidence to do that, you already know you've hit a bit of a brick wall.
Yeah, and we do have the knife round finally kicking off between these two teams. Again, the last match here, Mouse versus EnVy.
Right.
Looks like it's been pretty brutal against Mousesports, so we will be jumping right into the first round. Of course, with EnVy winning that knife round, we'll find out where they choose to start the game. Ladies and gentlemen, the last match of day 1 here at the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom. Over on the desk with a very, very familiar face for Counter-Strike. It's going to be Jill Miller and D-Man.
Yes, thank you very much, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A new commentator to Counter-Strike Global Offensive here at Intel Extreme Masters. May have seen him a few times before, back at IEM 2012, last CS 1.6 days, I believe, for you, Joe.
It's a while ago, and you might have noticed from that talent announcement, the picture was from back then. You know, I thought, I'm getting old, I'm getting ugly, I'm getting fat, but let's keep it real here. That's how I used to look, so we'll just keep it that way. I'm not sure if that's an actual legal thing to do.
I remember when you showed the picture, we all actually had to look at it. It was like, was that you? What you were like, Joe? I can't even remember then. But actually, technically, I can. It was a long time back. Memory's not so much as it used to be. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Match 5 underway. Mousesports as the T side up against EnVy on CT, both with 4 lives apiece. There's a stop. Apex crashed. Bam. Round cancelled. I'm pretty sure that would be cancelled because you can start at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was no contact here, no one's died, so restart of the round and get things back underway. But that gives us a little bit of time to talk about Mousesports versus EnVy. As you rightly mentioned, 4 lives still left for each of these two teams, along with SK, who was sat there saying, we're doing well for today. They only obviously had that 1 single game, but it was a victory for them over CLG. Now, coming into this one, it was already mentioned a lot that EnVy, a good Inferno team. They've got Kenny S in there. They've got Apex in there. They worked well as a unit when we saw them earlier on, beating TSM 16-11. Obviously, that was on Cobble. But this one, Mousesports, generally not being big fans of Inferno. It's funny because you look at their 2015 LAN record, just LAN only, they've actually played and won Inferno 3 times, but that actually includes the ESL Meisterschaft, which is the domestic tournament inside of Germany, where the opponents certainly aren't on the level of Team EnVy. So this one's going to be a really, really interesting one to see who can keep a hold of that 4th life.
And EnVyUs, this is obviously the test for them. They used to be a fantastic Inferno team. Now, with the changes, can they do that? You would assume so. Kenny S, can he be rocking the AWP? Will he get control of that mid? Will he run down Banana and start smashing people's faces? We'll find out. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck, have fun. Pistols underway. Big start for Mousesports. We're going to see if they can get the ball rolling on the T side. Looks like it's going to be a mid push straight away. They're going to burst on round. It's going to be Apex over at CT Arch and Keo holding it back with Kenny back round pit.
Not messing around here, Mouse, and they're actually going to push straight through onto Apex. What can he do so far? He's got a couple of good shots up, gets the double headshot there. That might be enough to hold this site now for EnVyUs. Mousesports retreating.
Tried to clip him, but Happy's pushed all the way down mid. He's going to get caught out, though. That means Dennis is going to push him. MPK quickly smokes it up, backs away, gives himself a good cover. Apex also got a cheeky dig on towards Nex there, but the Spinny and Dennis are going to push on towards B side. MBK is there. Apex is rotated. He's going to be in position the second they come around that corner. Perfect timing, but he doesn't manage to finish the shot off. Spinny will close him out. Oh, that was a greatful one tap from MBK. Kenny else will finish it. Bomb plant didn't quite come in there, but Envy will pick up that first round. All started off with that beautiful double tap from Apex.
Yeah, and he's almost single-handedly won the round there for EnVyUs. We saw him getting those first 2 kills, forcing Mousesports to back away, reconsider their options. And by the time they'd actually got around to beat Apex, had actually already rotated and had done a good shot onto the second to last man as well. So really solid round there for Apex. And we were hearing earlier on, he's a guy that can be hot or cold. He started off this match hot, which is an important factor for EnVyUs. But that is a big hit onto MBK right at the start.
Dinked him right down to 15. Will they try and follow through on that one? It's Dennis and Chris J that are probing the top of Banana. Meanwhile, Keo with the Nova going deep in apartments, but nobody challenged him. Now, Kenny and Apex are looking to hold off Arch. Looks like Apex is going to be on a bit of a rotate. He's just sitting in Speedway at the moment, so we'll see whether he joins out the rest of Mousesports while they continue to probe and prod.
Yeah, and it's interesting to look at the setup for EnVy. I was actually watching pretty closely on Cobble earlier on against TSM, and the A defense was Kenny S and Apex, the 2 new men in the team. They're doing a similar thing here as well. So obviously relying on the past few months' experience that these 2 guys have got with them to try and have one single area they're holding to the best of their abilities. For now, though, Mousesports have Chris J pushed up on Banana, and it looks like the rest of Mousesports are actually going to join him over there for maybe a B hit.
See if this Tech-9 charge works. The smokes have faded. Nothing left in EnVy's arsenal to try and keep them at bay, but Apex is in position with his M4. Now he's going to catch the first man. Chris J on the entry there, quickly comes right around the corner there. Goes the smoke down from Mousesports as they try and push on site, but it is carnage. Happy just mowing them down with SMG. Kenny does manage to get in there, but a triple. That's going to give him a whole lot of cash. He also managed to collect all those Tech-9s that were on the ground.
Yeah, basically 3 pistols there for 3 members of this EnVy team. You see this round for Mousesports, pretty much full-on eco, and just a couple of P250s added in for an extra bit of firepower, but in theory should be a 3-0 lead for EnVy. We still see them sticking to a couple of SMGs, obviously the Nova for Keo, and here comes the push up middle. Apex is just going to deal with the first 2 men, no problem.
Yeah, and that's just going to cut this attack dead in his tracks. It was just a pistol, so no surprises there. They did lose the 1 man, Happy, but he's not going to be too bothered. He's just had his SMG. Just shy of 8k as well, so he's going to buy straight back up in here. Here we go, though. Mousesports got the AKs, but because they didn't get too many kills, a little bit lacking in their grenades, the utility. You can see they have managed to get everyone with the smoke, and pretty much almost everyone with a flash.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting for Mousesports, and it was also mentioned, I just want to touch on that as well, God B. When I realized that, you know, Mousesports were building this team around God B, me obviously as an old 1.6 fan, very, very excited about that, because he was one of the best in-game leaders around, led Mousesports to many a victory, and he slowly but surely brought that here to the Counter-Strike Go team that Mousesports have had now for a few months. So really, God B, he's starting to shine, honestly. What he's putting together with this Mousesports team is a lot more aggressive than I remember old Mousesports, old God B style being. And, well, I think that for everyone is really exciting.
Yeah, it's took him a while to get the team together, I believe, that he wanted. It seems to show with the likes of Nex, who's been pretty much amazing the last few months, starting to build in there. But also, you know, Spiddy and Dennis, since they came across, everything's working well for them. They've been slowly improving. This is going to be an A hit, slowly coming. God B is about to break his way around, but you can see Kenny S is ready for this one. Going to get a glimpse, but didn't get the shot. Dennis did, and quickly Apex manages to get a revenge on Nex and has to back away. It's going to be two-man push. Happy's going to join them.
Well, here comes the man from the back, though. Happy not quite getting the frag. It was Dennis that re-peaked him there and lost out on his life. So we're down to a 3-on-2. Good smoke coverage here to stop Happy getting in there. He was just trying for a lucky shot or two down towards Pit, with basically using an extra clip, just hoping for the lucky shot there through smoke. But this is going to be a really, really hard retake for Envy. And you can see already that MBK says, okay, we're not going to realistically pull this one off. I'm going to back away with this AWP, have a peek through Arch, see if I can get any exits. But for them now, you know, the price of that gun is more important than trying for a bit of a lucky win in the end.
Yeah, an expensive first peek there for Kenny S. Didn't manage to land the shot. His first AWP on Inferno with EnVyUs. Does get rescued, of course. The magic stick is safe for now. Ooh. We are back in the game, and it is straight away. It's been restored. We're back at 3-1. EnVyUs with the lead on the CT side. Mousesports did just pick up the last round, though, with the rifles. So we'll see how they take it.
Yep, solid little start here. We'll see if Mouse can put two back-to-back. Not many nades left here for Dennis. In fact, he's just been dinked a little bit down there to 2/3 of his HP. I think that was a smoke shot down the end of Banana that's caused that little bit of damage to him. But for now, Mouse have moved themselves back away from that Banana area and are looking for another A hit. This is what won them that last round.
Yeah, they look like they're set up and ready, though. Look at EnVyUs. Kenny's backed away into Library. Apex and Keo, Balcony and Pit. They've got this set up nicely. And it is going to be Arch they're going to go towards, straight towards Kenny S. Are they going to get the pop flash in the right place at the right time? It's going to be Nexus going to throw it out there. Kenny quickly adjusts his position as well. They still haven't completely committed to this one. God B, Nex and Dennis all still at the top of mid, just waiting to see if they can get an opening.
Scared of Kenny, and rightly so. I mean, we've seen him hitting shots left, right and centre. There he's next to open things up, though. There is Kenny, though, finally peeking from the Arch side of middle. He's going to get another challenge here, but he's managed to get away from it. I think the flash will have slowed them down again, as Keo will chime in as well. But Kenny S has basically got free reign here on the back of the bomb site. He's going to not quite get his second kill, and there's still 3 men left for Mouse. 3 for Envy, though.
3-on-3 take. Happy's going to come from, looks like it's just sitting in Moto. MBK and Kenny are going to come around at quad. There's 1 in Pit, 2 on site. That's the ones they were after. Spiddy takes down Kenny around the side. MBK replies. Dennis finds him on quad, and now with bomb planted Pit side. Happy's going to be the one that peaks, but Chris J and Dennis both backed away. One's around a quad, one Dennis has already gone into apartments, so he's going to come from above. Does Happy know it? He's got to check the angles. Goes in towards quad. I don't think he realizes it. He's not going to be able to make it work. He has got a kid actually, but needs to just rescue that AWP. Might be able to catch him as he jumps into second mid. Not going to get the mid-air shot. The USP hangs on. He's lost the AWP. And that's going to get collected by Dennis as well. So double bonus for Mousesports in the end there. And again, another successful A hit.
If only he knew he would have stuck to his pistol there.
Yeah.
Super low was Dennis, but as you rightly mentioned, he brings that AWP through, and we are going to see Chris J and what he can do. Will he challenge up mid? There's no up this time around, of course, for EnVyUs. They lost 2 rounds in a row, so struggling a little bit. We see basically forcing up wherever they can here. CZ for Kenny S and for Apex, +8 for Mass for MBK. Only Happy and Kiyoshima rocking the M4s, but all but MBK running with no head armor at this point. So See how this one all works out for the Mousesports. Have gone for a very standard start, sending one man just to have a look at Banana. Rest of them kind of spreading out here onto the top of second mid.
And yeah, same again. Again, Chris J, God B, they're both peeking at the angles at Arch and Quad. God B with the bomb in hand, while Dennis just goes and probes over at Banana. So they're setting up once again to hit Arch and hit Quad at the same time. This time though, here's Kyo set up in the right place down in pit. Well, Chris J opens things up. That's Happy going down already. And that means a rotation will come out. They're going to go all the way around to B. Speedy's going to be the only man that stays. Then Boiler, everybody else piling down towards B. MBK all alone.
And this could actually force a massive rotation. I mean, MBK is still the only man here. We saw that they completely faked out A, ran towards B, but it looks like they've switched this one around again. The bomb is going over towards A. They've left only Dennis up at the top of Banana, so it will actually be an A bomb site hit with just 15 seconds to go. Kyo going to come in. Kenny S with the CZ, and a second there. He's going to hold on to this one. A third for Kenny S, and it's now all on Dennis. 6 seconds to go. Got no bomb. He's all the way up Banana. This is going to be an EnVyUs round. Just when they'd forced it out. That's why it's so important to put a round like that together. And it was basically the CZ of Kenny that held them onto that A site.
So back and forth from Mousesports. It's almost like they questioned each other. They checked to B. There was a smoke there. So like, okay, we either risk it and try and push through. Could be two there. But then Spiddy got another opener over on A site. So immediately they all turned around. They were halfway up Banana, straight back down towards A. But Kenny S with the CZ75 there, getting himself a double on site, triple overall. Who needs an AWP? You got that CZ. Now Kyo this time is going to sit at Arch and cover off Kenny, but they've kind of smoked themselves off, and immediately it's open up Quad.
Only Dennis with a weapon here, but he will make use of it, taking down Apex. That leaves one man here defending. Well, it is Kyo just outside of pit. Kenny S, meanwhile, from the Arch side, and they've slowed Mousesports down once again. Kenny's actually got a backup, but he's not even going to need it. Snipes off God B, snipes off Dennis, and surely will land the shot here. Well, I spoke to early on to Spiddy. He needed a second shot to the shins, but it will be Kenny S again holding. Basically two rounds in a row there that Kenny S has come up big for Envy.
Yeah, a 4K for Kenny now. Obviously going to be top fragging after that one. It's starting to look very good here for EnVyUs. 5-2. They get themselves a bit of a lead built up, and it's a bit of a force coming out from Mousesports here. Just the Tech 9 for Spiddy and Galil for Dennis. AKs for the rest of them. Just give them enough utility. Spiddy went for the molly here. Let's see if they make use of this one. Decent investment when he's only gone for a Tech 9. He's going to be the man that pushes on through apartments, so most likely that molly is it going to be going towards Quad. Are they going to try and flush out any defenders there? Because Envy have not been holding Quad spot. They've been allowing them to come up mid, which is what they've done again, and it's going to be straight away graveyard defense this time from Apex.
Yeah, they've gone for that graveyard pit defense basically every round now, and we see again it comes up big. It's going to be Kyo to peek from pit. He'll get another one, and it's just Spiddy and Chris J actually left in this round. Envy, it's really just textbook holding. Even though Kenny S has smoked off, they're quite happy to back each other up. Let Mousesports be the ones pushing into these sites, and all of a sudden, Spiddy left all alone with just the Tech 9 in hand. He's got the bomb, but he's in a disadvantageous position right now.
But if he can get a plant here, this is going to be great for them, because that's literally something from nothing. MBK is going to come around. They got the bomb plant down. So MBK just slightly over-rotated towards Speedway and gave away the B position. He will obviously get the defuse in there, but that was something from absolutely nothing in a 1-on-4 situation to get a plant down. That was actually great for Spiddy.
And Dennis just said, HP Apex after me, and Apex
not
replied, not low. So yeah, quite happy with that one. That brings Envy 6-2 up in this. And so far, Mousesports, you know, they've had that one successful A round, one successful B round. Well, it feels like they've hit a bit of a brick wall at this point.
Ooh.
EnVyUs are actually going to send Kenny S very aggressive down apps. Misses though, he's surely dead.
Yeah, into trouble. That was a risky play. We see JW doing it a lot and successfully, but Apex now in position. There's 3 Tech 9s stuck around this corner. They've all backed away, so he's going to pop flash himself in, but they've already gone there. Now, it means they're going to have control of mid. Happy's actually made a push all the way around the back. He's in T house right now. He's completely around the back, and he might completely catch him off guard. Spiddy's going to be coming all the way back, though. And Happy's ready for this. Should be easy for him, but instead he gets a dink instantly. That takes him down to 12, and now they're in a really weird defensive situation. MBK's on his own at B side. Banana control in Mousesports' hands. Everybody else from Mousesports spread out, spiderweb style. Check out where the hell Happy's going.
Well, the good thing, it depends which side you look at it from, and he's going to burn down. 2 HP, manages to get away. But he actually fired a couple of shots off from mid. They saw him go in T-ramp, so they knew he was exactly there. There's only 30 seconds of this round left, though, so Mousesports need to get a move on, and Happy is going to be pushed and finished off, leaving just Keo in A and NBK in B. It's going to be an A push for Mousesports. The question is, can Keo hold them off long enough here?
NBK's making the rotate. He's already in Arch. Keo does get taken down, though, in pit, and now NBK in a 5-on-1. So many rifles been gained from this round for Mousesports. Remember, they started, it was a force, just Tech 9s. You can see not even all of them had armor as well, so this is a real great round for Mousesports. Bit of a disaster for EnVyUs, just over-aggression almost there, which, you know, sometimes you do go for that almost disrespect play. You see Navi doing it a lot on Inferno when they feel they have the confidence, and granted they were against Tech 9. You saw obviously Happy pushing on down there, but when it backfires, it goes horribly wrong, and this is a consequence of that.
Well, the way it works out there, that yes, Happy got in behind him, but because he got dinged, Mousesports knew that he wasn't probably going to challenge. He'd just try and hold angles for when they pushed him back. And the thing with that then, if you get a pick over towards A, you know you outnumber them massively anyway. And that's exactly what they did, just overpower Keo in that A site. You've got yourself an easy plant. They killed off Happy in the end, and obviously NBK left alone then hadn't really got much of a chance to come back in.
Okay, but it looks like we might be back underway for a short period of time at least. I hope this goes a little longer. It's 6-3, ladies and gentlemen. We're back underway. EnVyUs versus Mousesports on Inferno. Chris J with you all.
Yeah, money being given back here, and we'll see again both Kenny and Chris with these AWPs in hand. Start is very standard once again from Mousesports. Dennis pushed up to Banana, which has been almost every single round smoked at that choke point section. So as you mentioned earlier on, Envy have not really pushed that. There's not really been too many aggressive plays down there. They've preferred to sit back, make sure that it's kept smoked, and play it that way. And so far that's actually worked, because Mousesports have not, despite the one round they won on B, I think, most of their focus has definitely been towards the A push.
Yeah, and it's Kenny that's smoking it. Pretty standard setup from EnVyUs. Kenny now sitting back at library. Chris J working his way up, peeking over towards Arch. And Kenny's actually been sitting deep, but he has peeked around there a couple of times. That molly's going to be on point. He's going straight onto Apex, and it's going to flush him out of his position.
Really well done. A little exchange for the start. Kenny's going to try for the crosses. Misses that one, though. And that's going to allow a bomb plant here for Mouse. And well, what are they going to do with this one? Dennis is already on the hunt. Kenny's going to walk straight out here on Speedway, and that's an easy kill. There was a man tucked around the corner there from Kitchen, which I think they may just catch out. It's in fact Happy who's still in there. And, well, they've all basically ran past him at that point, so Happy might have a little bit of a look, might have a go here on Dennis. Finally spots him. Happy will get on that. But that is going to be Envy here, backing away. AWP will be going through off towards the B site for them to try and hold.
So, second round running for Mousesports. It's working well for them, and they've been taking A control, I would say, almost with ease right now. Envy actually having a few problems trying to hold on to that one. They haven't pushed B site once, as far as I'm aware. Well, not successfully. I think they tried it once with that pistol, but they didn't get they managed to get that random plant in. But that was about all. They lost the round overall. But Mousesports, it's working well for them. They're getting mid control. They're getting up to the top of mid, and at no point are they really being challenged. Now, the AWP was saved. Happy's kept hold of that one, so he's not giving it to Kenny. Interesting in its own dynamic, and Happy going aggressive with it. We saw Kenny doing this, and it backfired on him. Let's see if Spiddy challenges.
Well, likely will here, and basically a spawn thing there for Happy. I think he had the better spawn, and he decided, all right, I'm going to keep hold of this one, try for the early push. Sadly for him, that has not worked in his favor just yet. Mousesports, in fact, held back. You can see the yellow dots there on the minimap, so they will likely push his position. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and I think Mouse being a little bit wary. Keo, he's going to peek out. Can he get the deagle off? He did not do any damage there for that one, and Spiddy has taken down Kenny.
Yeah, 3 of them in apartments there. Kenny tried to peek a balcony, instead got taken down. Happy going so aggressive. Got a glimpse, but that grenade's going right at his feet. He's not going to realize that Spiddy's just to the left. You can see it was outside of his vision. And now they're well aware of this AWP peeking down there. They've got full control of A site. They've just managed to waltz straight in there. Happy does finally land that shot. That's going to give Keo the gun. So are they going to be happy to hold on to these 4 rifles, or will they try and retake? Looks like they're going to just hold on.
Yeah. I think a wise move at this point. I mean, we already saw that money wasn't exactly brilliant for Envy. With that AK in there, M4 AWP, probably worth saving.
Apex actually just went into T-spawn, hoping that obviously at some point Mouse had decided to trade weapons or whatever. There was just like a random gun lying on the floor. No, it was, unfortunately for him, there was nothing there, nothing to be taken.
Well, we are seeing them setting up for a couple of exits. Try and make it expensive while you're on this one. That bomb, of course, already ticking away. And you can see Mousesports all getting in the corner. They're all full HP here, so they can just stack this one up and all survive the round without losing anything, without risking pushing around and being knocked down by one of those 4 remaining Envy members. Mousesports bring it back to 6-5.
A little slice there of the knife just at the end there, but they are sitting on some pretty damn good bank right now. 6-5. Good T-side score for Mousesports. Mousesports, by the way, I can't remember actually, it was that long ago, who actually won the knife, but I think I'm pretty sure it was Envy. But actually, Mousesports on this map generally will pick T-side anyway to start. So they're probably quite happy to start this way because they feel they can go into it and then see, okay, this is what we need to do on CT side. This is what we're up against. As it is, it's a 4-man stacking banana for the first time. Now, Happy and MBK are still up B side. They have got the smoke, so there's going to be the smoke going down. But I wonder if they're going to try and push through it for the first time.
He'll be certainly dangerous. You see Chris J just looking to see if he can spot anyone through it there. They won't spot Happy though. He's going to get 1, 2. Can he find any more as he switches out to the USP? Good call there to back away. But we see just 2 health at the back for MBK. A nade will deal with him at this point. Is he going to be able to catch the head of Nex, who's just crouched down there by Grill? Here is the push back around from Happy. He's now managed to get more, and that will be the 8th coming in for Happy. What a hold. They decided to go through the smoke, and it's cost them dearly.
Fantastic stuff. MBK just kept his head down as well there. And that's going to be rescuing the AWP as well. So double AWP setup now. So Kenny and Happy, both on A and B, will be set up for this. What a great hold for them. Mousesports, it's the first time they've really tried it. They tried the flash through on B side, and well, I think they've just proven why they've not been doing it too often. And we're going to see a boost. I think we're going to see a boost at quad E. Yes, we are. Keo going up there, so they're going to smoke off. Chris J's about to peek there, but it will hold him off. Spiddy's in apartments. Next is just on the side, but everybody querying it. Happy going for the peek.
And I don't think that Mousesports are going to challenge anymore there. They are, in fact, backing away. And I think that's wise. Once you've, figured out that there's an AWP there, you probably want to just back away. Don't care about trying to push that angle anymore. Happy was knocked down to less than half HP, but you see Kenny and Keo and Apex, in fact, all sat there right now. This could be dangerous if they try and push towards A, which it's looking like they will.
Yeah, it's a great little crossfire setup they've got there. Kenny, obviously going to be the up close and personal at quad. He can back away and he's got the cover. Apex is covering the balcony, so whichever direction they come in, but one solid flash could actually completely screw them all up. We'll see how it works out for him. Happy's lingering, ready to quickly rotate around Speedway, while the rest of Mousesports set themselves to approach. They're going to come around the corner. The first shot from Kenny doesn't land. It's going to give Kier the chance to peek across. He has to drop down. The flashbang comes through, and they're already in arch.
Yeah, and there's the smoke just to cover the backside. That's a great move. Happy here is going to have to clean up. Does manage the 1, but can he find any more? It'll be God B, and that's the bomb down. The bomb down inside of CT spawn there on Speedway. That's horrible news for Mousesports, and they're surely just going to get finished off. Nex is the last man left alive against 5. The timer's running against him as well, and Nex is going to try and hold his weapon, but he's got a sea of Envy headed his way, and they're going to kill him off there. He dies after the time, and that is Envy picking up their 8th round here on CT side.
Yeah, that was Mousesports just delaying it a little too long, clearly trying to sell the fake at A, going arch to B. It's a while since I've seen that one actually be used, and more importantly be successful. It would have worked because they had to actually triple stacked at quad, so it was actually well read. Unfortunately, it was not well executed, and Happy was obviously the big difference there. Apex finding the head of Dennis in pit there, in tunnels, quickly catching him out, and everybody's going to back away. Kenny holding the angle, this time being a bit more aggressive on arch.
Flash coming his way. That means he has to go back in towards the arch. He's got 2 men defense here inside of apps as well, and Envy have adapted to this almost constant A push from Mousesports. You can see time running down. They've not really lost position. Dennis is dead. Spiddy and Godby around about half HP between them. Kenny landing there with the dink. He has time to switch out once again, and he's going to be cleaning up shot once again. It's Spiddy going down. There is Apex over on quad, and Mousesports again thwarted on the A push.
Since that one big B round, EnVy have just looked unstoppable. They're suddenly hitting every shot, hitting every angle. We were talking about in-game leaders hitting the frags. Happy sitting on 18 right now, having a whale of a time since he's got hold of this AWP. And it's a scary team. You think of EnVy now, obviously Happy is a great AWPer, but now they've got Kenny S with him. If they can get that double AWP setup, it's nigh on invincible. Happy going aggressive this time with the AK, pushing a little too deep. That's the first aggression we've seen actually on Banana, and it's backfired on them. You see Happy and MBK both down.
Chris J, though, going to be burnt there by MBK. Next, if he does push, he's going to be at a disadvantage here. Only 18 health, easily finished off there by Apex. And now Spiddy and Godby, with armor and Tech 9s, are going to first of all have to wait for Apex's Molly to go down. And then there'll be a smoke to follow up. So dangerous move either way if Mousesports decide to push through this one. They are at a man disadvantage, as well as Godby's health total. And we see EnVy not really rotating for this one. They'll keep one man deep on A. Apex here deep on B. And Kenny S in the mid for a fast rotate where he can. Well, Apex is going to play super defensive all the way behind New Box. Kenny S going to flash himself over as well. They're going to be ready for this push.
So Molly going down. That's going to cover off the CT push, but that's going to be a clean shot for Kenny there. And they should have this one locked down. It will be Spiddy taken down. So 10-5, good half in the end for EnVyUs. I think they'll be pretty happy with that, the way things were going. It was round for a short period of time there. But Mousesports, just the 5 T sides. And finally, with the server playing ball, everybody is looking like to continue this game. So Mousesports, everything on the pistol for them, really. Because if they let EnVy get to, 12, 13 rounds quick and early, it's going to give them a nigh-on impossible task, uphill challenge. Certainly not impossible. We've seen some pretty big 13-2 halves in Inferno before. We'll see how the CT side goes.
Definitely not an impossible task for Mouse, but as you rightly pointed out, it all's going to start with the pistol. They have to get off to a good one, get those initial 3. A gun round really wouldn't go amiss for them as well to go 4-0 open. By that point, we're basically all going to be tied up again. Spiddy there, just having a peek down mid. He didn't see anyone in second mid, so doesn't get that information. And EnVyUs slowly crawling their way up towards a middle push. Only Happy over at Banana right now.
But that little trade, he just had a little trade, tip for tap with Dennis, and it's actually drew Godby all the way back around. Spiddy finds one, though, as soon as they push into A. They're actually going towards Speedway. Chris J is there. Godby's going to join him. Great flashbang, but he wasn't able to follow up on it. And I'm pretty sure MBK got the kill while he was flashed up. Now they're going to be pushing. It's going to be that CT Arch to B play that we saw Mousesports try. Dennis single-handedly keeping them at bay. Manages to get 2 down. And that's bought time for Spiddy and Next to rotate. Now, MBK yet to get the bomb plant down in his 2-on-1.
Key thing is getting his hands on the bomb. He doesn't know where Nex is, and that might be a bit of a problem. You saw him just checking there. He's going to now come off that. Honestly, Spiddy is a one-shot right now. He's still got 30 seconds, so he can play for time on this. Spiddy changing position, and MBK is going to try and get the corner plant in by that first box. Keep himself in. This pop flash might actually cost him his life. He does go over the top, and next comes around the corner. It's Mousesports that win a much-needed pistol.
That was a very interesting pistol tactic. Going straight mid, then straight arch, then straight round to B. And they were actually in a very good position. I think they had 5 alive while they were pushing through Speedway. That's when obviously people started dropping. Spiddy with a great little double on the back from New Box, but 10-6 Mousesports get themselves the rifles, 2 UMPs and 3 M4s. Should give them a decent defense here. EnVyUs going for it, forcing it. Why not? Of course, that's what EnVyUs are renowned for. And even an SMG from MBK, because he managed to pick up quite a few kills.
We'll see how this one works out for him. We'll see a flash over the top there from Chris J. Just having a look to see if there's a quick mid-push coming in. That wasn't the case. And in fact, EnVy keeping this one fairly slow. We look at that defensive setup for Mousesports so far this round. See, Godby, Dennis, B defense. Chris J by Arch. Spiddy and Nex on balcony. and in pit. So gives you an idea of how Mousesports are going to be set up going forward in this second half. For Envy, still been no contact right now. There's a pop flash through. Chris J is going to peek it. Is he going to come out alive? He's not. NBK will finish off.
Oh, and that's a quick rotate as well. It's forced Dennis away. Dennis is all the way back at Speedway, suddenly rotating back. He did get a smoke down now. That slowed EnVyUs, and they are 5-man pushing through. That smoke about to clear. Dennis has to hit the first head. There's going to be the flash. He knows they're going to be coming around. He's going to back away to construction. Wisely keeps himself alive and tries to get a couple of tanks through the smoke. Well, Godby joins him.
And now the push comes on though. Apex will fall first. Bomb ticking away. And that's a lot of damage here from the backside from Happy, but Dennis gets the better of him as well. It's now a 3 versus 3. Kenny S is going to be watching from CT spawn, from the tree. Can he get one coming around the corner? No, Speedy checks it, and that could be disaster here for Envy. They've got the bomb ticking quicker and quicker. There's a kit with next, so they've got the time here, Mousesports, to get in. But here's the deagle from the back. Keo gets one. Speedy shuts him down, and there he's next, still alive, on the defuse quick enough. And Mousesports, bit of a rocky second round, but they win it nonetheless, and it comes back to 10-7.
Oh, good round from EnVyUs. The full fours worked almost for them. They managed to get a good plant and a good hold, but Mousesports unfortunately had M4s in hand and able to take that long-range fight. And that, of course, gives Mousesports a big advantage here. Wow, okay. A little bit of a force coming out from EnVyUs. Still another Tech 9 and head armor from Happy, actually. He just upgraded to head armor just as he left, so we'll see where this tank manages to go, whether he's able to open things up. Chris J feeling confident and rattling a couple of shots down mid there. Not able to find any targets though.
Yeah, the good thing here for EnVyUs, despite they've lost these first 2 rounds, is they got a bomb plant both times, and they brought Mousesports down to just 2 players each time as well. So they've actually made bank, and even here with picking up pistols once again after forcing in that last round, they actually still have a lot of money for a full buy in the next one anyway, so completely worth it. Here's Dennis, up close and personal.
All right, that was a great little pop flash, but it didn't quite work out how they wanted it to. Godby trying to pop flash Dennis out there, but I think Dennis went maybe a little too early, and he got caught out by the flash of EnVyUs as they pushed on through the smoke. I think they were hoping that they delayed a little longer, and that's actually made it real tricky now for Chris J next and Spitty, because it's given the rifle, the M4. They haven't actually collected the P90. You can see it just on the floor in front of Nex there. On the 4-man hold, though, they should keep Mouse back here.
Well, those M4s make a whole lot of difference against the pistols. Let's see, though. Nex jumping up, headshotted instantly by Keo. There is Chris J going down, and Envy just rushing out there to finish off the CTs. Will pick up finally around. It took them 2 forces to get through onto it, but they do manage to break through that Mousesports defense. And, you know, I was talking about how well Envy have done in terms of their economy by doing well in the pistol and that first force, and obviously winning that last one. It works the opposite for Mousesports because they've lost so many people. They bought up a second round for 3 of them, and that means that they're now on to a almost full eco. There's 2 P250s. Dennis has got armor, but that's all.
Well, I was questioning myself, Happy going for that full armor and trying to equalize the money a little bit, but clearly when you win around like that, it absolutely pays off, like you say. So that's going to be, well, the first opener. Happy does go down. Can they rescue that weapon? Apex is going to come in and cover it off. Immediately reacts to that cover, and they are actually going to push mid, so it's going to be, look like a quad push coming out from EnVyUs, but that's been counter-smoked by Mousesports, slowed things down as they try and get that peek around Nex and Chris J ready to look, try and challenge, but are they going to find Kenny S as he lurks in the smoke?
Well, for now, Chris J not getting a spot down middle, and will back off. Kenny S did just spot one from quad, and Envy are going to hit this side. Don't forget, it's basically a full eco, except Dennis, who's sat on that P250 with armor as well. He's got to do a job, but honestly, he's up against AKs, M4s, full on armor, full on nades here, although most of them already being used. And it's looking like it will be another Envy round to put them up to 12 points. It'll take a small miracle for Dennis now to do anything with this one. He's in fact over all the way by the T-spawn at this point, so he's just going to sit there, at least keep a hold of his armor and that P250.
Yeah, he's the only one that actually picked up armor in the round, and just making sure he secures that 1,000 for the armor, sorry, the 600, and of course the P250 that he got with it. So 1,000 total, but they actually sadly are going to find him, I think. No, Keo, MBK, they've They've thought about it and then they've stopped at the bottom of mid. They were heading straight down there. They're probably unsure of whether actually he's got hold of Happy's rifle that was loose, so they may be questioning whether they have got their hands on it, but it wasn't, sadly. It does mean that Mousesports can't afford to buy themselves up, but 12-7 is a great start for EnVyUs here. That 10-5 CT side has put them in good stead to try and close out this matchup. Just 4 rounds remaining for them.
Double eco in here though, Mouse.
Oh yeah,
You see,
they could have afforded for masses for sure in this one, so...
yeah, I mean, you can force up in that scenario, but if you lose it, you're kind of in trouble again. So going for a double eco here, which I think the wise move, considering, it's 12. If they lose this one, it's 13. They still then have a couple of rounds to buy after that because they've gone for this double eco. So I think in the current scoreline, the current climate, when you look at their finances, this is probably a wise move actually out of Mousesports. And we've also seen crazier things than a team with 4 sets of armor and 4 5.7s to actually come out on top of this one. So a little bit of something special, and Mousesports could pull off something this round. One thing that's important is they at least get a couple of kills, make it a bit more expensive for Envy, maybe even save a couple of those weapons as well.
Chris J is not going to be able to land anything. Tried to go for a couple of shots. It is going to be Dennis instead that will be challenged at the top, and he's all alone at the moment on B site with that single smoke down. Gobby's on the rotate. He should be there just in time, but just pistols in hand, it's going to be tricky. He's going to hold out and porch by the looks of it. He's actually going to flash himself through. That's aggressive. He did have the support, but immediately Kenny S takes him down. Happy was the Lone Ranger over on A site, and he's picked himself up a pretty simple double. Spinny last man standing. He's going to be on A site. He has got a defuse kit, so he might want to just try and keep hold of that one with his pistol. But I think Happy's not going to allow that. He's about to peek round quad straight into Happy's crosshairs.
Oh, nice shot though from Spinny. Question is, can he get his hand on the AK? Looking at the minimap, there's no way in hell that he's getting his hand on that AK. In fact, he'll do well if he actually survives this one, because he's got 1 man pushing from behind him from Apps. He's going to have 2 from library side as well. There's the shot. It's Kenny S that will come out on top of it. And EnVyUs, yes, they lose 1 man, but Happy even saying there, nice shot. And certainly was there with that P250. 13-7 scoreline. Now we see the buyback from Mouse.
Yeah, now they're in a great position to just close out the game. They've got all the money in the world. This is a biggie for Mousesports. Lose this round, it could well be game over, and one of their lives lost. That would leave Team EnVyUs and SK Gaming the only 2 teams with 4 lives left in the tournament. Far from over for both of these teams, but almost certainly sets EnVyUs as the top favourites after beating TSM earlier today.
Impressively as well, I have to say. 3 rounds off that win. Important one here for Mouse. You have to feel that it might just be all over for them without a victory in this one. So far it's a slow standard spread for Envy. Have managed to get control of Apps though, something that we've seen Mousesports relinquish, I think, more than Envy did. There's the peek around. It's actually a 2 for 2 at this point, but Chris J, he will open up with 2 to bring the man advantage back. Here comes Kenny. Chris J gets the better of him as well, basically single-handedly winning this round for Mousesports. It leaves just Kiyoshima, who spotted, I think, an arm or a leg there. Dennis managed to somehow get the headshot through that smoke, and now he's going to make a charge of this one. He knows that he's going to have plenty of money to work on, and he's going to give a go at clutching this round. From a 1 versus 3, can he pull this off? He's got 26 seconds, which makes it all the more difficult. There is a peek through. God B gets the better of him though, and Mousesports hold on.
Solid A defense there from Chris J. So, gives Mousesports a little lifeline. It was the round they had to win, and it's worked out for them. Can they build on this one? Team EnVyUs will easily be able to just buy straight back up on their little hit point question there. Chris J was down to 15 hit points, I believe. And now Chris J actually going aggressive. He's going to get a little peek. He's going to try and have a little glimpse. Is he going to hear footsteps? He's holding off with a smoke in hand, but not going to go for it. Next, just going to pop that flash out. Wow, that flash actually caught 3 of them in the second mid there. MBK does get Chris J down, peeking a little too much.
Yeah, almost a waste there, I think, from Chris J. I'm pretty sure they'll have heard those footsteps from second mid. And that leaves Mouse already at a 5v4 disadvantage. Next needs to be careful. Kenny S just around the corner. He knows where he is, though. He saw the grenade popping off against the wall. Here comes the push from Boiler as well from Apex. Neither of them really getting the shots off they need, though. And the Flashers managing to slow Envy for a little while longer.
Oh, they allowed him a reload there. He was down to 2 bullets. Could have tried to pressure his position, but instead they will find him a quad. And now Spiddy and Pit got beat at Arch. The 2 men holding A site. Dennis still all the way over on B site, so not involved in this one. Or will he be? Because look at the rotate. He's going to be happy once again as the Lone Ranger. He's going to be gunned down by God B, but that's going to be 4 members heading straight towards Dennis, holding off at Spools. Can he manage to get a great flash in? He goes for the one, gets the second one out there. He's down to 16 health already. He was already tagged low and unable to make any dent in this one, but God B's pushed through the smoke, manages to get one, but a quick revenge there from Keo. And Dennis, while he gets the bomb carrier, it's not over yet. Spiddy pushing in.
Spiddy, though, yeah, I was going to say only with a FAMAS.
Yeah.
And Kenny S was already watching as that smoke starts to clear. Shot going to be easier for Kenny S in that scenario.
A little messy towards the end, though. That was far from clean from EnVyUs, but interesting to start to see this CT Arch straight down Speedway to B-site once again. It's starting to become common in this game, it appears.
Yeah, we also saw that round that 3 men from Mousesports, again, because the round previously wasn't clean, had to completely force up. They literally spent everything that they had, which means this round, they are again forcing, this time with pistols on them. And Dennis will open up the fragging, so it's not over just yet. But certainly the pressure is on. There's a 1 kill from Chris J, but he couldn't find number 2. But we still have a 3 versus 3. Finally, Apex will burst through, and just Dennis and Spiddy, who are sadly for Mousesports over towards that CT spawn, are going to need a while to get back around from it. They do recover an AK, but it costs Spiddy 80 HP.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and hold on to them. Oh, no! Dennis possibly could have held on to that one a little longer. Spiddy was already backing. He was already saving. There was no reason to peek a second if your teammate's just not doing it. And that's going to put them on match point now. And Mousesports, how's their economy? Oh, it's not great. They just won. If they hadn't won that round a moment ago, then, they would have been okay. But it's going to be a 2-round loss. It's not going to give them anything. Mousesports, it's going to be very, very tough for them to try and pull anything out from this game. Looking like EnVyUs are going to close out this match in style.
Well, it's a little more one-sided than maybe a lot of people were waiting for, although we did point out at the start that Mousesports like to avoid Inferno. Envy, traditionally have been a strong Inferno team, so maybe not quite as crazy in terms of full-on scoreline than people might make out, but it's certainly looking good. We see the buy, I don't know if we can really call it here, forcing everything they can, of course, just trying to keep this one at match point, but it's really the AK, couple of Deagles, couple of 5.7s, head armor for everyone except Dennis. Thin on the ground in terms of grenades. This is going to be an incredibly hard hold for Mouse.
They're going to pop flash him out. This could work out well. He does manage to give himself one. Almost got the second as Apex checks it. That's going to smoke him off, but Apex jumping through the air manages to find Dennis. So well thought out play there. Got beat. Now he's got Spiddy to try the same. Spiddy, of course, with that AK will slow things down once he gets that molly down. Actually cuts them off a little bit there. NBK all alone. He's checking over on A side. Chris J forced to back away. Now the bomb's just been left abandoned in Banana as they continue to try and find some kills here, EnVyUs. So they're still not completely committed to B site. And next is Deagle finds NBK's head.
Yeah, pop flashed out again and almost made it look easy. And Apex already figuring out that they were going to come fountain. Spiddy does get one, but it's now a 3-on-2 with Kenny S at the back watching down towards construction. Can he find that man? Keo has tucked himself away in the corner. And Envy looking to hold on. Kenny looking down towards CT spawn and will find Chris J. That makes it all the more harder. But they've killed him off, and there is Spiddy coming in. And Mousesports, against all odds here, are going to be able to get the defusing in time. They have to switch out to Spiddy, who had the kit, but they will hold on. They've got a lifeline here against Envy as they move up to 15-9.
They got another AWP for Chris J as well. He's going to have to make use of it. He's been peaking a couple of times. Possibly going to get challenged. Can he able to afford just about what he wants in this one? Of course, EnVyUs full buy apart from Happy, who actually does get himself an AK in there as well. Just sitting on the Tech 9 for a short period of time. 15-9, still match point. A lot of match points to go if Mousesports are going to try and bring themselves back in. They're going aggressive, and Chris J finds Kenny. Yes, there's the orb duel we wanted to see.
Yeah, and he's just going to pull all the way back around towards that A-bomb site now, knowing that that EnVy probably not going to be pushing Banana once again after losing the initial man to that push. So 5-4 advantage for Mouse, and it slowed EnVy right down. You do have that 3-man stack, already trying to gain some control over middle, which, again, kind of typical for what Mouse have gone for at this stage. Has been the control being relinquished, and they're going to sit back and try and hold it from both quad or pit rather, and on the arch side from Library. Next we'll find MBK, so big advantage now for Mouse. It's going to take something special out of EnVy to win this round.
Yeah.
Or Chris could be looking in the wrong direction. That certainly helps.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't normally expect a man to just creep on through the smoke like that. Next does find Keo, but response is not really coming from Spiddy. He's down to 8 health and stuck in pit. But God B comes around the backside. 2-on-1, Happy with that orb. Does get himself a good tag onto God B. Didn't get the kill, unfortunately, for him. And he's down on just 11 hit points. Bomb plant will be pit side. Dennis should be able to catch him here. EnVy, I gotta say, I'd be impressed if Happy can hold on to that one. It will be a clean pickup. They should be able to rescue the orb. It's in that smoke somewhere. There we go. God B manages to find it. And 15-10. Clever little play from EnVy. They saw the situation. The smoke came from Graveyard, and MBK read the bounce, the direction of it. As soon as he saw it, immediately ran straight down, pushed out a boiler and straight round into quad. But sadly for them, they just lost out in the duels.
Clever retake as well from Mouse. You know, they know it's Happy, someone who can clutch rounds. AWP in his hands. You got him 1 versus 1. And you know, 2 1 versus 1s. That's how you lose a round like that. Oh, bad time to pull a grenade out there from God B. They're actually going to rush on through, but he's got the damage for this one. The nade's certainly helping out. And this is, again, a buy-up from EnVy. So actually really pushing things nicely here at Mousesports. Already got 2 men down. Kenny, Happy, and Apex, all that's left, and they're blocked off by smoke here on B.
That worked very well for Mouse. It could have easily backfired because, as you said, he was caught with grenade in hand, but they just kept pushing and he backed away, managed to bounce it off that wall and catch straight onto the back of Keo, and immediately was followed up with an M4 rifle shot. 3 of them stacked out in B site, but it looks like the rotate is going to happen. Apex is going to be the man that tries to distract, tries to keep them busy, or just tries to get a kill while Kenny and Happy make their way up mid. Apex will not come out on top against Dennis, and that's actually going to put EnVy in a real tricky situation, because like you said, they forced it again for this one. They will get the round loss kicking in should they lose this round at 15-10. But things start to get a little edgy once the opposition team hits double figures, despite the fact you're on match point.
Absolutely. That's when, you know, what was feeling like a comfortable win for you becomes a question mark or two. That's an easy kill for God B. Second one on Happy might be a little bit more difficult, but he does have one in the back of that site. Plus the AWP of Chris J now coming from spawn as well. And Mousesports bring it back to just a 4-round difference. Really clawing their way back in this one.
And not a man lost. That was a clean round for Mousesports. And real questionable from EnVyUs, because they went 1 by 1 into sight. You know, obviously we were talking about how they were pushing B and they could have caught Mousesports off. They did go 1 by 1, so they kind of made it easy for Dennis and God B. In a way. Chris J, is he going to peek? Because Keo is waiting once again. It looks like he will. Keo just hanging around tunnels. But Chris J this time not going to challenge it.
Yeah, and we see mostly eco there for EnVy. Head armor and armor for Apex. For Happy, sorry, and Apex has armor as well, and obviously spread of Tech 9s and the Deagle for Keo. So not an easy round on paper for EnVy.
Look at Apex at the back. He's running.
Yeah, I think just using this round, you know, to have a bit of a chat, figure out what's going wrong from them. You know, if you're going to use that tactical pause, you use it a little bit later on, and maybe at 12 or 13 rounds. So, you know, use this one where you're on an eco anyway and not expected to win it, to just chat things up, see if you can actually figure out something without taking that pause. The push now, though, coming over towards B.
The molly, did it get thrown out? It did, but he didn't do a great deal, but Dennis does get himself a double. Gobby's in the corner there, and this is a straightforward cleanup. Happy the last man standing. Will get executed by a pistol. from God B. And now at 15-12, as you said, we were at 15-8, I believe. Mousesports still coming. EnVyUs full buy this time around. AK's everything they need. Can they do it? Round loss kicking in, of course, which is helping them out here. Mousesports, they're hanging on. They're hanging on. And actually successfully, because Envy haven't really got too many kills in the last 3 rounds.
No, they haven't, and I expect, you know, after they had that eco and talked things through, if they lose this one, we might see that tactical pause coming through for Envy. Just try and slow down Mousesports a little bit, because it is now 4 rounds in a row that they've had on this CT side, bringing them all the way back.
And the last time they faced each other, I believe it went to overtime on Inferno. It was probably a while back and very much different lineup, but here we go. They're going to be pushing straight through. Chris J in trouble, actually. He's caught into Cubby, and he's not going to be able to get it out without roasting.
Well, we'll see about this one, because Nex is going to break through, gets himself a double, and just like that, Kenny S, 1 versus 4, is going to have to pull off a monstrous round. He's gone through the smoke towards Arch, will find one. That's Dennis down. He's only got 25 health, though, and God B from Kitchen will spot him out, and that is 15-13 now. Mousesports on the comeback here. I still don't want to jinx that for them. 2 rounds more to go to push us into an overtime. And Envy not pausing things up. They're going to keep going.
They're just going to keep on going, forcing it back up there. Galil for happy this time around. 27 kills for Apex so far. We were talking about whether he was hot and cold. This time he seems to be hot, but it's Mousesports who've got just a standard even spread. There's nobody really setting the world alight, because they're just overall playing as a team very well in this defense. Question is, can they keep Envy at bay? Because round after round, they just have to keep playing it. Overtime will come at 15. There is no draws. Somebody has to come out victorious.
Yep, and of course the loser will lose a life. Both of which these teams still have all 4 in place after their wins earlier on today. Here is going to be Chris J. He's got 3 men to pick, and he can't hit any of them. It's Keo that takes him. MBK puts Envy 1 step closer as Apex jumps into pit as well. And just like that, they found a way to break this Mousesports defense. God B gets shot through the smoke. Only Dennis remains, but he's finished off as well. And it's a 16-13 victory in the end for Envy over Mousesports, who, credit where it's due, really fought back on that one.
Yeah, how do you deal with Mousesports defense? You lay a carpet of smoke and just stop Chris J being able to see anything, it seems. Fantastic stuff. Only finally closing it out, 16-13. Let's get over to the guys on the desk to take us through that match.
Right, thank you very much, gentlemen. What a match. Definitely went on for a little bit longer than you might have expected if you were watching it from the beginning.
Yeah.
You're shaking your head here now. What's going on? What are your thoughts there?
Seriously, I thought when Envy won that eco round pretty early on in the second half, I figured, okay, this is going to be over now. But no, Mouse really fought it back and made it hard. From my perspective, it felt like, you know, Envy obviously hasn't had many opportunities to play together yet. It's a fresh team, so this is the type of situation when you're up like 15, whatever, is when your opponent starts to figure you out, you need to come up with the next step in your strategy book. You might not have that when you don't have that much experience together. So, you know, it came down to, Mouse just playing very well, and then that last round, though, I didn't really agree with Chris J's read on the play and what he did.
Yeah, and actually what really surprised me about that is it seems to me like when it comes to Envy being down a lot, whenever Happy's doing the calling on this team, it seems like maybe like 8 times out of 10 he'll call that round where they set up in like between mid and second mid and they throw exactly those grenades. The issue if you're on the CT side is that set of grenades has essentially 2 different variations once you get to Archway. You can wrap around like that, or you can try and play into Arch and into CT spawn. So either way, I feel like once Chris sees those grenades, he has to be able to make the call immediately. He must know what's coming. I feel like everyone knows what's coming next. Envy have made that play very, very successful for a long time, but it's also, I think, been used so much now that more teams should be able to identify exactly what happens when the first couple of smoke. And actually, you saw the screen. He turned around and saw the smoke landing in towards Little Pit and Library. So it should have been clear from the beginning what was going on.
Yeah, there was 2 plays he should have done. Either wait in Hall in the Hall, right? The Arch.
The Arch.
Yeah, wait in the Arch and just look at the smoke, or go in Library and just look at the angle where the smoke is off. And that's where the EnVy players came through as well. Instead, he just goes through and tries to do something I don't even know what he was trying to do. No scopes it, misses a shot, and the second guy goes down, and third guy goes down, GG.
Yeah, I mean, from there, it was just the dominoes falling right in place for EnVyUs, of course, to secure that game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think another sort of common factor that happened for Mousesports a lot when they were on the CT side was they ended up in a situation a lot of the time where there was really no chance for a refrag. One of the most sort of basic things on Inferno is setting up crossfires so that theoretically at least you lose a man, but you could at least get a kill in return. And if you're really lucky, you don't even lose anyone, you just get a couple of kills and then you fall back. It seems like Mousesports had a lot of setups where, Nex, for instance, was playing on quad on the A-bomb side alone on the canopy. So, there's no one over at Archway helping him at that point in time. I think that was a couple of rounds earlier.
Yeah.
If there's no one to refrag on Inferno, it's, in my opinion, a very weak CT setup. I mean, they did a pretty good job anyway, but they needed more of that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. As Joe was saying, of course, credit where credit is due. I mean, they fought back really well, especially on the B-bomb side. I mean, they were playing that really well. But as you guys mentioned, especially in that last round, I mean, they were only 2 rounds away from extending that game a little bit longer. Couldn't hold through, though, at the very last moment. And EnVyUs, of course, credit to them. I mean, they were in the lead the whole game. They were able to finally close it out with that last round there, ending the game 16-13. They will be the other team to now be left with 4 lives. So let's recap the day a little bit. I mean, that matchup, again, like you said, Nacho, maybe we're starting to see a little bit of the weakness that EnVy might have being a newer roster. But still, they're coming through. They have those 2 wins to get an extra 5. So now they end day 1 with an extra $1,000 in their prize pool pocket before even any standings are decided. On the other hand, Mousesports also now down to 3 lives. So we'll take a look at the results we've had so far in day 1 as we discuss what possibilities we have for day 2. It's been an exciting day. I mean, how have you guys enjoyed the tournament so far, especially with a couple of twists coming in, especially from SK?
Yeah, it's been different. I mean, we're going to be expecting now, as the tournament goes further, are we going to see more alliances between the teams, and how is that going to play out?
Well, I mean, I actually have inside information on that topic. So actually, because of what's been going on sort of outside of the game,
right,
I actually feel like this has been sort of increasingly exciting. Something that I hadn't considered is that once one group of teams creates an alliance,
right,
actually everyone else has to create a counter alliance.
They have to, yeah.
Otherwise, you are really screwed. So,
yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going on right now. We have like different formations that are sort of, it's very interesting. I'm enjoying this a lot.
Who's the Empire? Who's the Rebellion?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, look, you just even looking at this one, right? I mean, depending, so obviously EnVy will be able to select the next matchup. We'll get to that tomorrow. By the way, guys, I mean, the map vote will be open all over the whole night. Of course, the map pool resets for day 2, so we can have any of the maps in the current map pool being played out in the very first match tomorrow. But here's something to consider, right? At least one of CLG or SK has to kick off day 2 tomorrow. At the same time, even if SK's underdogs, they have 4 lives, and if other people agree with SK's theory, I mean, you could very well see CLG play Renegades tomorrow, and Renegade could just be really put at the barrel of the gun right there and say, can you survive another round, or will you go down to 1 heart? On the other hand, CLG's like, we don't want to go down there with 2 hearts at the very bottom and kind of be that other wounded animal limping away here in Gamescom 2015. It's something interesting to consider for sure.
There is always a factor that I'm guessing will be true here, even with the format as it is. For all Counter-Strike tournaments, you have to remember that you should never try too hard to sort of, use day 1's result to predict day 2. Day 2 is always different. Teams get a chance to adjust and reset. So, yeah, just keep that in mind that usually day 2 is a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it's, in some ways, especially because we've only had best of 1s. Some teams have only played 1 match today, so we haven't seen everything from these teams, how they've adjusted so far, too. Also, the tournament format, obviously, the arena, everything, it is going to be pretty different on day 2, but I am personally excited, Andrew. Sounds like you are looking forward to how all the politics outside of the game play out. What about you, Nacho? Are you enjoying the format so far?
Oh, yeah, I am. I think it's great for the viewers, to be honest with you. I'm not, it's as a player, you're always, you want to know.
It's tense.
It's exactly. Tense would be a great word to use here. I mean, as a player, you always want to know the details, everything as much as possible, so you can prepare it as much as possible. But nope, you have none of that. You're just going to be thrown in there. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. You're just going to get thrown in the deep end. You have to either swim, sink or swim right there as soon as the game starts. But, I mean, what a fun and kind of in some ways different but exciting way to, again, commemorate the return of CS here to the Intel Extreme Masters. I mean, sure, we're just starting here in Season 10 of the Intel Extreme Masters, but it's been a fun ride so far on Day 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we come back tomorrow with Day 2. We could potentially have Renegades as a team that may be the first one to be eliminated here. Also, we could have some other upsets or other alliances. We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget to keep voting for your map, by the way, and tell us, what do you want to see? What kind of matchups or alliances do you want to see? Let us know on all social media platforms with the hashtag IEM, and we'll return tomorrow, same time, same place here in Cologne, Germany with Gamescom 2015 at the Intel Extreme Masters Season 10.